turn down Harry's advances, King Charles shown his strength. Kate Middleton is back on the Queen News YouTube channel. Greetings and salutations. I hope your week gets off to a great start. Harry and Meghan were together at Kevin Costner's event over the weekend, as it appears that I missed some of their news. Seeing as how I saw it this time, it looks like Meghan and Harry are failing miserably once again, but I will have to reflect and find out more information before I can explain it to you in the next film. So, my friends, please be patient with me. Don't worry, though, I have some equally exciting news to share with you. Prince Harry apparently is now expected to give notice if he wants to be able to visit his father King Charles, and he has also been denied a room at Windsor Castle during a recent trip, so Harry came to London for the Well Child Awards the beginning of the month, and he asked if he could stay at Windsor, and it is thought that Harry planned to stay at Windsor so that he could visit the Queen's resting place at St. George's Chapel the day after, but they denied his request because they said that no properties were free on such short notice, and it's also believed that Buckingham Palace told Harry that he would need to put in a formal request to see his father during the visit, and a source has remarked quite accurately that Harry wanted all the glamour and all the benefits of being royal, but he didn't want to have to worry about and their responsibilities that went along with it. Well, of course it was never going to work that way. It's about time to reduce the amenities, not only for Prince Harry but for really everybody in the royal family who have decided to play an active part and forget their royal duties. Reportedly, though Harry's wanting food, he's also wanting a place to stay, security, staff, and probably the use of vehicles as well. His family was not present in this instance, and the lodging was being cleaned or secured. Obviously, things would be very different now if our children showed up and asked to stay in a room. It would be comparable to showing up and receiving a complimentary stay at a 5-star hotel. To be honest, how is Harry supposed to enter the Ritz-Carlton and expect a complimentary suite and all amenities? The issue with Harry and Meghan is that they never go to visit the family by themselves. Instead, they constantly have Netflix hunting for new stories about Harry's family to sell. In my opinion, it is best if they stay a long way away. Another thing it seems like Harry doesn't understand, even though he should understand better than anybody, is the palace has to be warned in advance so they can get ready, so they can make sure the place is staffed. They've got the kitchens taking care of the chef and security. Of course, all kinds of organization has to happen, so for Harry to believe that he can just drop by is incredibly disrespectful, and also kind of dumb now. Sure, in the old days, every single royal residence out there had a full staff all the time, but you cannot just walk up at the last minute and expect people to be available to wait on you hand and foot. In this day and age, it's not practical, and it's also rude. Harry has also destroyed all trust with his father and brother, so they're completely right to limit him from visiting on his own when they're not around. I mean, who knows what he'd get up to after the boys lost their mother. William and Harry became very close, and it seemed like William was very protective of Harry, so it truly is heart-wrenching to see how their relationship has completely fallen apart now. It's almost like their close relationship never actually existed. I think William, though, was very lucky he had his relationship with Catherine's family, and with their love and support it seems like he really has grown into this amazing family man, so strong, so admirable. And seriously, what else could King Charles have done, considering all Harry has done to hurt his own family, not to mention the fact that it was Harry himself who decided to walk away from his royal duties? I find it shocking that he would even ask to stay in one of the royal residences after everything that has happened. I mean, if this is true, that just goes to show that Harry has absolutely no shame. The things he shared with the world are so intimate, so private, his family can never trust him again, so I think he's going to end up incredibly lonely, and his invisible kids, if they're real, are gonna miss out on having an amazing family. Maybe Harry needs to be reminded that nobody's perfect, including himself and Meghan. He cannot expect to just go back and forth from the USA to the UK and expect to get to stay places for free. I mean, Harry, you have made your bed, so now it really is time for you to lie in it, and your bed is not located inside any of the royal residences. Even in my family, it's common courtesy to let somebody know that you're going to visit before you come, and for the kind of arrangements that Harry demands, I can understand why they would need a lot of advance notice. Aside from everything else, considering how Harry invades everybody's privacy, considering how he prints private texts and conversations, I can understand how the royal family may want notice so that they can make sure anything sensitive is carefully hidden away and they can have the opportunity to stay away from him. But I don't feel any sympathy for Harry because these problems are all of his own making. All right, so now that we're on the Topic of King Charles trying to be tough towards Harry. Recently I made a video about Charles giving a painful punch to Harry and Meghan's request for protection, so let's talk about some of your comments right now. First, Terry Trammell made an obvious remark. Terry, you've made a very fair point, but I believe you also know the solution to your question. Honestly, since Meghan calls the photographers, I don't understand why she complains about the photographer showing up. Simply consider it. If Meghan phones them, gets her picture taken, and then complains about it, well, that just means she attracts even more attention. Pathetic, desperate, unquestionably, but this is Meghan Markle, after all, and Susan Harris essentially states the same thing. She doesn't want anyone to know that she made the call. She tries to act casual. The same thing used to happen with Diana. She would contact them frequently, tip them off, then act as though she didn't want them there. Terry would then respond, "Yes, you're absolutely correct." Susan Diana had mastered the art of playing that particular media game. Though you're right, I believe she was slightly more adept at it than Meghan. One of the few things Meghan and Denise have in common is that they both do the same thing, which is why I have to admit that they do. I also particularly enjoy Denise's subscription to Meghan. According to Denise, she is working with the devil. For anyone with a conscience and a sound mind, all the confusion and misery she brings to everyone who comes into contact with her is quite abnormal. She is unaware of her own level of regret for her wrongdoings. She enjoys the suffering of others. You're right, I believe. That woman is pure evil, Denise, and you're right, she truly enjoys watching other people suffer. That is so twisted and sick. I appreciate your depiction being so precise. Denise and Teresa Ritchie concur, seemingly believing that their ability to make others miserable somehow elevates them. After all, shadows, Harkles can go around unguarded and unmindered just as easily as the King of the United Kingdom. Ultimately, the Hargals aren't even considered royals by choice. They don't have what it takes to be considered royal. A title alone does not make someone a royal. That's a great point that you made. Susan Harris has left a comment.